Hello, I'm Marco Sobrevinas, broker of GTA Home Living, powered by Real Estate Homeward. If you want to know everything about living in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, both the good and the bad, then subscribe to my channel and tap the bell for notifications so you'll be the first to know all about the current market in Toronto. I get calls, texts, and emails every day from people just like you looking to move from, to, or within Toronto, either moving up or downsizing. We truly love helping people, and whether you're moving in 9 or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email, and we'd be happy to help you buy and or sell. This week's episode, I'd like to analyze property values in the GTA when you own them for 5, 10, and 15 years. As always, when I refer to the GTA, it's the following areas as you can see in this map: Halton, Peel, York, and Durham regions, plus the city of Toronto. You'll find a lot of so-called influencers on social media who prey upon people's stress and insecurities regarding the current market value in the GTA. On this channel, I don't flinch from analyzing reality, but I don't create artificial hysteria either, just for the sake of more viewer clicks. From the peak prices of winter's 2022's panic buying until today, market value is down 25% for freehold and 20% for condos respectively in the GTA. Here are the numbers. February 2022 freehold houses were at $1,681,975. October 2025, they're at $1,262,848, or 25% down. March 2022 condos peaked at $840,624. October 2025, they're at $677,662, or 20% down. There's no denying that's a lot. If you bought during that 3-month period in 2022, and if you had to sell now, that's a considerable loss in value. But not everyone bought at the peak, and not everyone has to sell immediately. I genuinely believe when buying real estate, you have to be prepared to think very long term. If you listen to all the doomsayers who focus on the short-term drops in value and can't get past that, then to put it plainly, real estate is not for you. If, however, you're buying a property, so it's your primary residence, and you're willing to commit to a property for years, or better yet, decades, that patience will be rewarded handsomely, and you'll have ownership and control of your own house or condo. We'll get further into detail, but this line chart shows prices 5 years ago, a decade ago, and 15 years ago, circled in green. Although we're currently in the worst real estate market the GTA has seen in 30 years, if you bought more than 5 years ago, and of course further back, you can see that your property is still worth a considerable amount more than you paid for it. The passage of time can weather even the worst downward turns in the market. By the way, buying residential real estate for rental income is a very different scenario. I help people with that as well, but I'll create a completely separate educational video about that in the future. I showed you the plain truth of market values from 2022 until today. But what if you bought in 2020 or 2015 or further back? How is your real estate property really doing? Let's look at market values in those years and compare them to today. Be sure to factor in inflation costs of your mortgage, add your capital improvements and repairs and so on. The numbers are based on the average per year, so the entire year is averaged. Here's the 2025 yearly average for freehold houses so far. $291,676. That's the average in the GTA this year so far. And this year's average for condos so far is $692,703. If you bought a house in 2020, 5 years ago, the average sold price or market value back then for the year was $1,090,364. Therefore, the average sold price today is up by 18.5% above what you originally paid for. If it was a condo you bought in 2020, the average sold price back then was $634,291. The average sold price today is up by 9% from when you bought it. Okay, let's go back 10 years. If you bought a house in 2015, the average sold price or market value back then was $745,488. The average sold price today is up by plus 73% above its original value. If it was a condo you bought in 2015, the average sold price back then was $387,933. The average sold price today is up by plus 79% above its original value. If you bought a house in 2010, the average sold price or market value back then was $500,262. The average sold price today is up by plus 158% above its original value, or over 2.5 times what you bought it for. If it was a condo and you bought it in 2010, the average sold price back then was $305,321. The average sold price today is up by 127% above its original value, or 2.27 times what you bought it for. That's as far back as the Habitats charts go in time for now. I can give you a real-life example that goes back just a little further to 2007. It was a house in East End, Toronto, that was purchased for $310,000 back then. The owners then sold it in 2024 for $890,000. Therefore, market value went up by 187% above its original value, or nearly triple what they originally paid for it. That's a good look at the past. Where is the future likely going? According to Benjamin Tall, deputy economist at CIBC, we're likely looking at around a 5 to 7% further drop in value over the next year and a half. Then the market value will start recovering after that. Watch my previous video for a detailed review of Mr. Tall's analysis. I'll end this segment with practical, actionable advice as always. You're likely doing okay if you bought a little more than 5 years ago and need or want to sell. If you purchased 10 years ago or more, your equity gain is quite significant. You can sell with confidence that you've gained a lot of market value since you purchased. See you next week.